Right, quickly before we begin the program, this coronavirus pandemic, how's it going with you?
Well, with me,
I mean, what the situation generally?
Yeah, it has become a general phenomenon, and I think everybody is feeling it, especially as it touches on the economy of every average Nigerian.
We just hope we'll get out of it sooner the better.
Yes.
All right, it has taken a heavy toll on Nigeria's economy, particularly the oil sector, where prices have crashed drastically due to the dwindling global demands for Nigeria's crude oil. Is there any way we can avert recession at this time?
Well, there are ways we can avert recession, definitely. We are still very lucky as a country. If you look at it this morning, it's still ranging between $30 and $30.5. Our budget was based on $30, this budget. So when we look at it from that point of view, and what we are really envisaging is improvement. As the coronavirus thing starts getting lower and down, what we're envisaging is that it will pick up. Then with the kind of meeting that is going on between Saudi Arabia, Russia, now trying to bring in the US, there's hope. So the next thing, what can lead us into recession is mismanagement of the economy. If we have good management of the economy, we are still in good state.
And do you think we have good managers in charge of the economy?
That is the problem that we have.
How devastating would another recession be Nigerians?
Luckily for us, I would say it, we've never had recession. I used to say what we had before was a function of mismanagement, indeed. You don't go into recession and then within months, 3-4 months, you are out of it. No, that's no recession. You see, there was mismanagement, there's no doubt. There was non-preparedness for the job, for those who are in charge. And then that brought them to a point where what to do next, they don't know. And that was the best way out is to tell Nigerians that we are at recession. For those of us who know what recession is and the effect of recession, we knew that what was happening was because of the lack of plan before getting into government and not knowing what to do immediately after getting to government. So they didn't know the way forward. So the best thing is color it with some kind of economic language, recession. So that's why, as far as I'm concerned, I have never believed, and I will never believe that then we went into recession, no.
Okay.
But with this, if our economy is not well managed, because now it's a world thing, it's not just Nigeria, it's not just Nigeria phenomenon. And then, economies are interdependent.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why, if this time around we miss it, we'll now go into what it's called really called recession.
All right, the program you're listening to coming to you live from the radio studio of Oluyole 98.5 FM, Ibadan Searchlight, and we're looking at COVID-19 pandemic and Nigeria's economic lifelines. And we still have in the studio Dickin Samson Olalere. So, Dickin Samson Olalere, the federal government have proposed the cuts in capital expenditure by 20% in the 2020 budget. Is this the way to go at this time?
Definitely, if you have a situation like this, the first casualty is the capital project. That is the truth. Because you find it difficult to touch on the recurrent expenditure always. So we will expect.
But no nation will survive without a capital project.
No, the thing is that when you prioritize, all right, whatever you want to do, and then when you have this kind of situation, like I said,
the needs away from the wants.
Oh yeah, sure. That's the kind of a thing. Eventually, when you pick up, you go back to your capital expenditures and projects.
Yeah.
But again, capital projects are meant for life.
Yeah.
You see, when you don't take care of life and then you lose the population, you get it, then the advantage of the capital project would have been eroded. So that is why usually the first casualty in situation like this is the capital project.
So right now, some people, or let me say, some school of thought are calling for removal of fuel subsidy. What's your take on this? At this time, some are saying it will be the solution or temporary solution to the problem we have on ground.
Well, unfortunately, you see this subsidy thing, what we should have tackled, which I think here the current NNPCMD is trying to do, is to tackle that point of supply. Why do we have to subsidize? It's because we have not managed the supply chain. How do you have 4 refineries that none is functioning 50%? And you say you are running an economy. You see, so we must cut our greed. Once we cut our greed, like he said, I think the man is talking right. What he's looking at is that as much as possible, his own regime will reduce importation of fuel. That's what he's telling us. It might not have come straight, but that is what indirectly, and that is the only thing that can really remove subsidy. As much as we rely on importation of fuel, it will be difficult because the price will be so high that you will affect the economy itself, the individual economy of our nation and our individuals. And if that happens, people will start shouting. Before you know it, the government will run into trouble. So what I think he's trying to do, tackle the supply angle by making your refineries functional. And the man has given us an hint that what we will do is it won't be business as usual. We will allow entrepreneurs to come in. We allow them also to run. And then once there's competition in terms of supply, definitely price will come down. You know, and that is the best way out. Okay. If we continue to export crude, import finished product, we cannot get out of this.
Okay, let's look at the area of financial palliatives as well. Right. A lot of money has been injected into the nation by the AFDB, the IMF, the World Bank presently. But what are the short and the long-term gains for the country and for the financial institutions as well?
Well, the important thing is this. Like I've said, I've talked about the management of the economy and then the finances of the economy. If well managed, all right, we need this kind of a thing. For instance, we have gone down with regards to our budget now, trying to cut the capital project. This kind of money, if it comes in, all right, we now kind of cushion that area. But that depends on who is managing what. But when you look at even the way we are managing the cushioning of the economic effect on individual Nigerians, you will laugh at this country. You know, there's no way you go and stack Naira notes just to show us that you are distributing money. Then if I know I'm going to continue to get such money, 20,000, I won't even be ready to do any job.
Not tell you.
Yeah,
that's the easiest way
to become rich and then to feed myself. So that, you see, we have applied the wrong tactics, and that will not bail us out. And that's the same thing we will apply to all these financial inputs that are coming in. If we deploy them the way we are deploying this our money, then we'll still run back to the same square one. So, like I said, it all boils down to cutting the greed of the management team, cutting their greed, and then really facing reality of development.
Okay, let's look at, you talked about the conditional transfers, the palliatives not being done the right way.
Right, sure.
Are you saying it is a lopsided project?
Well, apart from being lopsided, there is no way you say you want to pump money into the economy that you feel the best thing is to put raw cash into the pockets of Nigerians or people generally. You know, the best thing to do is to enhance their productive capability. All right, that's what will make a turnaround of that money, and then it will grow. But when you give me cash, the first need or the first want is food. All right, you know, every Nigerian will want to think of, okay, what do I do with this 20 naira? Do I 20,000 naira? Do I invest or something? No. The first need is how do I feed my immediate family? Then there's this boy that has to buy a new shoe because
they buy it for him.
Yeah, before you know it, that 20,000 is gone.
It's 2,000.
All right. Well, but he also knows that maybe in the next 2 months or so they will bring another one, so he will relax. All right. But when you pump it into production, productive aspect, all right, it will be different. The man will know that he cannot spend more than his gains because the money will be tied down on that productive process.
But do you think this can work in Nigeria, where the poverty level is on a high rate? Do you think you can easily advise people to cut down on how to spend money? The
way you do it
Okay.
is by tying that money to certain projects that the man has in hand. That's what I'm saying. All right, but if you just hand over cash to him, and think, well, you have given him cash, he will sustain himself. The first need is how to get himself going on, eat, all right, have some kind of comfort, right? But if you know that this man has little business, he sells tomato, all right,
so
and then you
let's
look
give him
at
cash to boost the business.
No, not even cash to boost the business. Let's look at areas where he can get this tomato. That's his trade.
Okay.
And then we have done our studies and know that, well, we can get tomatoes cheaper here. Then we now liaise with those people, supply him with tomatoes at a lower rate. He will sell at a higher rate, make some profit from it. You are boosting his productivity and his business. Then he will also know that, well, this business must sustain. So the next thing is for me to continue in this business, maintain my level of productivity, make profit from it, spend in from my profit. So that's what we are saying. But when you just look at someone, this man is poor, give a poor man ₦1,000,000. He will keep it at home and say, okay, this ₦1,000,000, let me be taken and be eaten, send my child to school. He will not be thinking of the fact that as it takes, and there's nothing added to that, that money is depleting.
Yeah.
But when you teach him, all right, that, well, you have this little business, you are a tailor. Okay, we'll buy you one new machine, more. We'll now link you maybe to the prison service or any service that needs your services. Then you can be expanding your production. Before you know it, you will know that he needs somebody else to assist him in that job. Then the thing starts expanding.
Okay,
so that's what we should look at.
Okay,
yes.
Okay, fine. Still in this area, the line of thought, let's leave the people now. Let's talk about those managing the funds. Let's talk about accountability and transparency. What's your admonition towards those that are disbursing the funds?
As far as I'm concerned, I think a lot is wrong with it. There's no doubt about that. Our Minister of Information recently was telling us within 2 days they deployed as much as billions. You know, that looks ridiculous. Very, very ridiculous. All right? Now, just take an x-ray of the point they have been to. Take an x-ray of the people on the queue. Then put this together, you know that definitely within 2 days they have not deployed as much as those billions.
People on the queue? Well, we haven't even been seeing any queues.
No, well, there are some places they showed on the television where they have queues. So if you even
probably that's why we talked about lopsided projects.
Yeah, lopsided, and then even as lopsided as it is not really reaching majority of the people. So when you look at that, it's not transparent enough. So how can you say you have deployed that much? So where are the balances? Yeah.
All right. The program you're still listening to is Searchlight, coming to you from Oluyole 98.5 FM, Ibadan. Very soon we'll open the phone lines where our darling listeners can contribute as well on the program this afternoon. All right, so talking about the federal government's directive on the reduction of pump price of petrol to cushion the economic impact of this COVID-19 pandemic. Some are saying it's a compulsion that should have been an existing economic compulsion and not totally about COVID-19. Do you agree with this?
I agree with that, because when you look at, if the prices, about 90% of this product is imported, all right, and cost of production has gone down because of the cost at which crude is being sold. All right, caution just demand that, well, if you are importing at less price, definitely you should give it out at less price too. So it's not about where COVID come in is that the reduction in the price of the crude is as a result of the pandemic that has stopped production points in most of these advanced countries. That's where it comes in. But under normal situation, the Nigerian government is not doing us any favor because it's also buying cheap. So if you buy cheap, you should sell cheap. So it's something that, and then that's the kind of a thing that the MD, the general GMD of NNPC is looking at, that, well, if it's so, with time, we might be able to remove the subsidy. That means that the market forces will determine the price.
On a personal note, are you satisfied with the 125 naira per litre?
No, I've not gotten there yet.
Okay.
The reason being that in Nigeria we have the crude. All right? We should definitely be buying fuel for as low as 65 or 67 naira per liter in Nigeria. If we do the right thing, if our refineries are functioning, and then we are producing locally, there are other things that comes out of this crude that is benefit to those who buy our crude, which will be an additional advantage to our economy, which we lose out by selling the crude. If we refine here, there are a lot of byproducts that can be useful for other production units, like the fertilizer plants and all that, which we lose out to export of crude. So with all this, if we are refining in Nigeria, definitely the cost of refining will be low. There's no doubt about that. And if the cost of refining is low, what happens is that the price definitely will be lower than what we are having now. Because you will add the shipping cost, you have so many things to add that makes the price to go up. But if it is here, it is local shipping, local transport, and transmission of the thing. So it will be lower.
Okay, now that the federal government has removed about 20 naira on the price of petrol, right, at least from 145 to 125, right, do you think it has cushioned the effect a bit on the people?
And unfortunately, where the people are not feeling it for now is the very fact that the COVID thing has also locked down almost everybody.
So nobody's making money.
So nobody is even, one, you are not making money. Secondly, you are not making business. Thirdly, you are not even traveling. All right, I can say it now, but for today, since Monday, I've not even gone into my car, not to talk of driving it out. Will I buy fuel? No. So such things, their transporters are locked down. Most states have blocked their ports, their entry point. So you are not moving, so the effect is not felt, really. But after the COVID thing, or if we are getting it right, maybe people will now start feeling.
And after this COVID-19 pandemic, do you see the price dropping down again?
Well, like I said, I think before the GMD said what he said, he must have been working on those refineries, I think. And if he's doing that, he's looking at it. Okay. Coupled with the private sector initiative of Dangote with the big refinery in Lagos. The man is looking at all this, that, well, by the time we go into 2021 through 2022, while production will be almost 80% local, then we should be able to get to that point.
Okay, the federal government will also be drawing from the Sovereign Wealth Fund, as part of funding commitment to the war against COVID-19.
Right.
Do you see the present situation as serious enough for us to be drawn into the Sovereign Wealth Fund?
No, definitely. When you look at the way, because we depended solely on the proceeds from the crude, and this has depleted seriously. All right, and then if you look at the budget of each of the states, definitely what is coming in will affect their performance. Okay. So this is this kind of situation that calls for drawing into that fund, and that's the wisdom of such funds. So many people, to even like the state government, then we are seriously against this fund. But now they will see the advantage because they are the one who withdraw from it and then be able to cushion the economic effect of this downturn.
Before we begin to take calls now, there have been calls coming in for devaluation of the naira amidst the COVID-19 crisis. What's your take on this, sir?
No, I think that's not the way to go. Devaluation is not the way to go. Let's look inwards and improve our economy. You see, why devaluation comes in is the very fact that our economy was so much dependent on external forces, importation and all that. This has taught us a lesson to look inwards. Now, there is a lot of things that are advantageous with this COVID thing. The rate at which people move out of this country, spending from the foreign reserve and all, has dropped drastically. Before now, most of the rich ones, most of the government functionaries would have been moving out of this country for either health, tourism or whatever, or just for fun, But with this thing now, that has definitely reduced drastically. Tell a Nigerian government functionary to now travel to either Germany or UK, he will be so scared.
I tell you.
All right? So he will look, that thing has given us an advantage of looking inwards. If we now annex that advantage, we'll see that there will be no need for us to devalue our money.
All right, darling listeners, the number to call this afternoon to contribute on the program is 08055009850, 0055009850. Yeah, the topic we're looking at is COVID-19 pandemic and Nigeria's economic lifelines. And the number to call one more time is 08055009850. All right, we're talking about the Sovereign Wealth Fund, and okay, I think we have a call on the line. Hello, good afternoon.
Thank you, good afternoon.
Your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, my name is Bonaboni.
All right.
Yeah, good afternoon, Honorable Analyzer.
Yes.
All right.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, it's just when they have, now that the money is not coming in, that it will affect their performance. I want to ask, when they have that money flowing in, is your performance better? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
It's actually, I can't remember when we talked about money not coming in and then performance enhancement.
Maybe he probably misquoted.
Yeah, he did. I didn't say that much if you listen well. But what I'm saying is that the situation we find ourselves now will make us to look inwards. Unfortunately, the performance is a function of those who are in leadership, unfortunately. Okay. And then the greed of Nigerians and leadership in Nigeria. Okay, that's what has been affecting our performance.
Okay, hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you please move back from your radio set? Please shift back from your radio set. All right, kindly call us back. Whenever you want to call, please move back from your radio set. All right, we're talking about the Sovereign Wealth Fund earlier, as some people might not know what it stands for. What's the purpose of the Sovereign Wealth Fund?
Well, the fund is meant for times like this. It's like a saving.
Okay.
Then when you run into some economic hitches, you can now look in there and then try to cushion the effect of that kind of downturn in the economy.
All right. Yeah. Hello, good afternoon. All right, so let's move on from there. While our callers are still trying to call into the studio, the federal government. Okay, I think we have a call on the line. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Your name and where you're calling from? Hello. All right, the federal government has reviewed plans to provide public work job for 774,000 Nigerians, with 1,000 Nigerians drawn from each of the 774 local governments. What do you think of this initiative?
Well, if it is well managed, it's good. At least that will reduce the rate of unemployment. Though if we look at it and we feel that, well, it's still low to what is expected, yet it's a step in the right direction. So if we continue that way, all right, from the 774,000, we move forward again. If it is well managed and well done, I think it's a step in the right direction. We will commend them for starting from that point, but again, they should not stop at that point. Expand the base.
Okay, so why is it taking the federal government the COVID-19 situation to begin to address issues of social and economic development targeting the poor and the vulnerable?
Well, it's quite unfortunate that we have some, because the major problem is that we have not planned well. All right, and it takes some shake to make people to start thinking. Well, this shake has brought governance or those governing us into the reality of situation. All right, but now one thing that should be a lesson to us is what happened in China, for instance. All right, because China, in all their development strategies, have always thought of emergencies, contingencies. If there are emergencies that we have not, so they've been planning ahead for it. And that's why if you look at the economy in China, it is not that shaky. So also you look at the US, for instance, because they always have reserve, they always think of emergencies. So that's one thing we must learn from what had happened.
All right. On a final note, what do you think about the fire inferno yesterday at the accountant general?
Oh, that's another.
What's your take on it as we wrap up the program?
Unfortunately, it's a very unfortunate coincidence. You know, the House of Rep people.
Okay, hold on a bit. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Your name and where you're calling from? You're the last caller.
My name is Adio from Ikire, Osun State.
All right, your contribution quickly.
I just want to appreciate the analyst for his objectivity so far.
Thank you.
I think as a Nigerian, we have people like him. Why we are still having many issues with our economy? I just what the man is saying now. I think governments will implement most of their input. That is my take, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Enjoy the afternoon. All right.
But I would say I'm not disappointed. I'm not disappointed at all because it's a trend. Once you're trying to look into an area of leakages and stealing and fraud, there will be fire. So I think it's just like a normal thing in this country. It's quite unfortunate.
And we hope to get out of it very soon.
I think we will, by the grace of God, but it's unfortunate.
All right, thank you very much. The program you just listened to is Searchlights, and it came to you live from the radio studio of Oluyole 98.5 FM Ibadan. We looked at COVID-19 pandemic and Nigeria's economic lifelines. Yes, while we are still in the coronavirus period, I want to admonish and advise also to stay safe and follow all the precautionary measures that have been dished out to each and every one of us, and we're praying that God will keep us all safe. Yes, thank you so much, Dickin Samson Lalere, for coming on the program today.
It's a pleasure. Thanks.
Dickin Samson Lalere is an economist, a finance expert, and a public affairs analyst. Till next week, Thursday, where we come your way again from 3 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. My name is Tosin Soya, and the program is produced by Tola Teriba. Good afternoon and be a good Nigerian.
Àmì òjijì rédíò tí ó la fi wé Oluyole FM àwa ni bàbá. Alhamdulilayi, ilé akéde ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ní kí gbogbo mùsùlùmí káfàtà kó ojúlọ́nà oṣù yóò Ramadan tọdún 2020 ojú gbogbo wa ni ó ṣe pẹ̀lú ìyọ́nú Allahu. ṣèbẹ́ tí mo ti wà nílé akéde ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ pé ẹni abálábà ní baba nídìí àránṣẹ́ ẹ̀sìn la ṣe wá ń pe gbogbo wa wípé ó tún ti yá o kájọ ṣiṣẹ́ àṣegbọrẹ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run ọba tó dá wa nínú oṣù lámúlánà ọdún yìí àti pìyàmọ́ ètò sílẹ̀ lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan wá sí àwẹ̀ tafsir èrò pípé ìkíni lákòókò àwẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe ń fẹ́ sí ló ṣe wà ńlẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ wa nílé akéde ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ wákàtí kan 30 ìṣẹ́jú 15 bó sì jẹ́ ìṣẹ́jú 5 lẹ́yìn lè gbé lẹ́jẹ̀ wọ́n lórí tẹlifíṣọ̀n àbí rédíò Oluyole FM 98.5 ẹ ṣáà ti kàn sí wa ní room 110 ilé akéde oríta Basọ̀run Ìbàdàn tàbí kẹ́ pè 081-2690-6777 081-2690-6777 nọ́mbà alága ìgbìmọ̀ àwẹ̀ Ramadan ti ilé akéde ọdún yìí nìyẹn o intansorula yanzurukum. Ramadan Kareem.
Yara. Ìran àgbẹ̀ wọ́n ní ló laró dídá, ìran àlùkò ńlọ ló sùn, ìran àwọn lékèélékèé ló lẹ fún. Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ti mọ̀ pé ilé akéde Ọ̀yọ́ láláṣọ àrà tí gbé e wọ̀ tí kan ò sì ní í jọ̀kan. Lábala àkọ́kọ́ ìyá àrà lọ́sẹ̀ yìí ọ̀nà 3 lágbègbà oge ṣíṣe ni ó ṣáájú ìyẹ̀rà ifá ó tẹ̀lé lẹ́yìn èyí lẹ́wàá gbọ́ ìtàn tá a lè fi kọ́gbọ́n tá a sì mú ṣòdiwọ̀n ayé wa ẹ ó sì tún láǹfààní láti pè sórí aago tẹ́ ẹ sì sọ èrò ọkàn tiyín lórí ìtàn tẹ́ ẹ bá gbọ́ bó bá dọjọ́ Sunday. A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run alààyè tó tún mú kọ́dún àjíǹde yìí ó ṣojú ẹ̀mí gbogbo wa. Ìdí rèé o tá a fi ké sí olùṣọ́ àgùntàn Benjamin Àkànmú alága ẹgbẹ́ ọmọlẹ́yìn Kristi nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ni wọ́n wípé kí wọ́n wá fìdáhùn sí ìbéèrè àwọn èèyàn wa lórí ikú àti àjíǹde Jésù. Kí làwọn nǹkan tẹ́ fẹ́ mọ̀ nípa àjíǹde Jésù gan-an? Àwọn ẹ̀kọ́ wo ni ikú àtàjíǹde Jésù lórí igi àgbélébù kọ́ wa? Àwọn ìbéèrè wọ̀nyí àtòmí ìtẹ́ bá tún nítorú yín lójú ní kẹ́ ẹ béèrè lọ́wọ́ àlejò wa bó bá dorí ètò Èyí Àrà lọ́jọ́ Sunday lórí rédíò ni o.
Láfikún oníbejì lèyí àrà wa tọ̀sẹ̀ yìí ní Sunday tó wọlé dé yìí ni o. Láàrin aago 8 sí 9 àárọ̀ ó ní ètò Èyí Àrà kejì yóò gorí afẹ́fẹ́.
Ẹgbẹ́ àwọn ọlọ́sìn ẹran abìyẹ́ nílẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà ẹ̀ka tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ wa yìí lèyí àrà ó gbà lálejò lórí rédíò àti tẹlifíṣàn. Ẹ gbọ́ wọ́n ní iṣẹ́ ọ̀sìn ẹran abìyẹ́ èyí tí ń pèsè adìẹ tòlótòló àtẹyin fún wa nípa pàtàkì láti kó nínú dídín ọ̀sẹ̀ àjàkálẹ̀ àrùn COVID-19 kù lọ́nà wo? Ṣé ẹyin ni tòlótòló ni àbádìẹ? Ẹ má làágùn jìnnà odidi ẹgbẹ́ Poultry Association of Nigeria ẹ̀ka tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ Lèyí Àrà ó gbà lálejò lórí rédíò àti móhùnmáwòrán ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ kẹ́ ẹ má gbàgbé. Èyí Àrà àrà lọ jáǹtì rere.
Oluyole FM 98.5. Oluyole FM 98.5.
I tell you, I not talk.
You dey shout,
I dey speak, I not talk.
you dey spray,
I dey look, I not
spray your mouth anyhow.
I dey speak, I not say anything.
You dey yarn no
I
pattern.
dey look, I not talk.
You dey demo
I dey speak, I not say anything.
like e kung fu.
I dey look, I not
You
talk.
just dey mesca from anyhow. You dey jump up and down like a jangirova. I dey try make I no vex, make we no fight gidigbo. But if you try me, I no vex, your mama no go know you again.
Yes, no do gra gra for me. No do gra gra for me this Thursday afternoon on Oluyole 98.5 FM. All Time Hits is the program. 25 minutes to 4. At 4 o'clock, we'll bring you the news in brief. This is from Lagbaja. My name is Ayodeji Ajishokwe. And on the console is Aisha Oladejo. Kazim Folarin is the engineer on duty.
You better mind yourself, oh, mind yourself, oh boy. Don't do gaga for ya. Baby, don't do gaga for me. Oh boy, mind yourself. for here. Baby, my yourself, no do bla bla for me.
You dey fumble,
I tell you I not talk.
you dey shout,
I dey speak I not talk.
you dey spray.
I dey look who I not
Spray your mouth anyhow.
I dey speak I not say anything.
You dey yarn no
I dey look who
pattern.
I not talk.
You dey demo
I dey speak I not say anything.
like in kung fu.
I dey look who I not
You
talk.
just dey mesca from anyhow. You dey jump up and down like a jangirova. I dey try make I no vex, make we not fight it gidigbo. But if you try me, I no vex your mama no go know you again.
Boy, no do bla bla for here. My friend, no do bla bla for me. Boy, my yourself, no do bla bla for here.
Mind yourself, your mouth with what? Woman, pasta, your mouth.
Wetin I talk? When your mouth come to misfire, now my right to ask you. Now your right, where are you go give you? But if you don't know your right, baby, and you can't say no, you for talk and jeje. Cuckoo go radio, say you be carpenter. Ekpele o, Mr. Shokule. Baby, no do gra for me. Baby, no do gra for here. Oh girl, mind yourself, carry your gra go front. Baby, mind yourself, no do gra for me. Baby, what you got here, no mash gra see me. You better mind yourself.
Checking out. If you marry hairdresser,
Oh yes, this is Ifema. Ifema from Felix Liberty. Old school Nigerian tunes coming to you from Oluyole 98.5 FM.
Darling, I'm serious. I don't wanna play no games. I don't wanna mess around. I don't wanna try no more. I wanna settle down. Just give me your love. Just give me your love. Just give me your love. Give me your love. I want to marry you, baby. I'm serious. I want to marry you, darling. I'm serious. I don't wanna play no games. I don't wanna mess around. I don't wanna try no more. I wanna settle down. Just give me your love. Just give me your love. Just give me your love. Give me your love. Ifeoma, 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 Ifeoma. I want to marry you. Just give me your love. 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 Hey, my friend, time on you.
Yes, this is from the Elegant Stallion. Onyeka Onwenu. In One Love.
Don't be sad, understand. Everybody has a day when the sun stays away. Take heart in a new tomorrow. A little more love between makes for a brighter day. Never need worry, let one love set you free. One love, keep us together. Living in a world, it's a struggle just staying alive. One love, keep us together. Living in a world, it's a struggle just staying alive. Somebody tell me, oh why we fight it? One love can set us free if we just let it be. Take on in a brand new day. Good love is all we need to chase the clouds away. Never need worry if you just let it be. One love, keep us together. Living in a world, it's a struggle just staying alive. One love, keep us together. Living in a world, it's a struggle just staying alive. You never need worry, no, no. Let one love set you free.
Time na money.